The basic idea of this haircut, again, is that really modern kind of French style bob. I'm gonna pop her off here really, really quick. I've done half of the head and then we have the other half to do, but you can see that the shape itself has that perfectly kind of stacked, tapered, that weight line kind of sits right where it should, I guess, on a French bob. You can take it as short or as long as you want. And then we're gonna kind of connect the fringe on this side since I only did half and half of the head. So I would say curl pattern wise, curl texture wise for this particular head, I would go into like a 3B, 3C realm if any of that makes sense to anybody as far as the curl chart. But you can also alter this for any type of curl. That will make more sense when we start to take on a little bit of weight because we're gonna have a little bit of disconnection to really get these curls to kind of fluff up and get a lot of movement and texture. So I'm gonna wet my curl down a little bit. Again, my name is Jessica Rondinelli. I'm on the artist team with Schwarzkopf Professional USA. And I'm really, really grateful and to be here with you guys to share some curly techniques and some curly hair cutting. Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody see me okay? How does this head look? Can I get a little bit of love? Cool. All right, awesome. So one of my favorite tools is a wide tooth comb. This is my baby. I use this for just about everything when I'm cutting curls. I'll try to get this girl a little bit closer so we can see here. Cool. So yes, I am combing through them. It's okay. I'm using a little bit of less tension. I just want to make sure there's no snarls, anything like that. I'm going to cut the majority of this without a lot of tension, again, because we know it's going to bounce up and she's got quite the tighter type of a curl pattern. So depending on the length that you're wanting to get, we want to make sure that we're not adding too much tension. We have to appropriately accommodate for the spring. That's going to inevitably happen. So first step is we're going to completely go down the middle of this. Now, if I were to have been cutting this all together, I would have put this fringe section in one. But again, since I cut half and half to be able to demo for you guys, we're gonna take everything and just do one part completely down the center. The second section that we're gonna take is right at this parietal ridge. We're gonna zigzag this and take this out. Now, this is gonna be the part that keeps our length and kind of comes over top and really kind of gets us and meets in the middle of that really nice triangle, so we keep that weight line wherever we want that French bob to sit, okay? So I'm going to take my comb, just kind of really see where that lays off the head. Just take a really simple zigzag. You can take as deep or as shallow as you want. You see that? Love, love, love using zigzags on curls and texture. It just adds another layer of diffusion. It also is going to really help to aid in variation, right? So especially for curls and texture, we want a lot of variation and alternating pieces. So we get a lot of short to long, things that are going to move and push hair in one way or the other and give us a lot of bounce. And especially too, depending on how dense or thick the hair is also going to determine if we have some disconnection, if we take out some weight and things like that. So in this particular cut, we are gonna have some of that as well, because she does have a decent amount of hair, but you can alter this for whatever you think. Cool. Then, very simply, all I'm gonna do is just separate. I'm gonna go a little bit more this way. Cool. Hello, everybody. All right. So I'm gonna go from right to the back of the ear, kind of separating the sides from the back. Very simple in this initial kind of basic sectioning. Just gonna clip that away. Now, of course, you could absolutely do this dry if you wanted to, or if you're just touching this up. Now, I'm choosing to do this wet also because this is a brand new haircut on this mannequin or a brand new haircut on a client. If it's not brand new and you're just touching it up, I likely would go back in when it's dry, just to really see how it's grown out, see where those pieces live, and then be able to clean that up accordingly, okay? So I'm gonna tilt head down just a little bit. Cool. All right, I'm gonna take a horizontal section in this back area here. Awesome. Do we have a lot of curly stylists in the room here? A lot of people that do curly hair? Yeah, yeah. Scared of it? Don't be scared of it. It's just hair. It's just a fabric. It's just texture. Okay, so two options. You can obviously use a razor if you would like to. I'm using and choosing to use a shear initially. And I also have a curved shear as well too that I really, really love to use in curly hair because we're gonna get a lot of push. I love Hanzo and I love these Samvias. I am not endorsed. If you wanna give me a little something for it, I will totally love it, but I am not paid to say that. I just love these shears. So, all right, I'm gonna take my comb. I'm gonna gently get through just any snarls that might be there just to really get a very, very, very clean line, okay? Using my shears, so I don't want anything to be pushed or go in any certain direction. So when I do this, I'm going to pull back as I cut. That way I know my line is going to be the same length on the bottom instead of, sometimes if you're cutting, you can end up pushing and we can get length in the opposite direction, okay? Is this the diva cut? It is not. No, I'm a short scott professional, so this is an interpretation utilizing a lot of techniques that we've created as part of our curl curriculum and our texture curriculum. So no, it is not. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna take my shear, like I said, and I'm gonna find that baseline of where we were under here. This first section is quite short. We're building weight so we can really get this nice, kind of just beautiful like shelf and a lot of volume in through there. So I'm gonna take, and like I said, I'm gonna move my head a little bit off of here so we can see this. So I'm gonna go in, and as I cut, I'm gonna pull back just slightly. Cut, pull back a little bit, cut, pull back, zero tension on this cut. Pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. And again, you obviously can go as short or as long as you would like with this, okay? Cool. Pull back, pull back, pull back, okay. So we can see then that line is nice and solid rather than, especially because I'm not using any tension and I don't have anything really holding this down to stop myself or my shears from going in a lot of different directions. That pulling back is gonna really make sure that I keep everything that same length because I'm not using anything else to hold it into place. Does that make sense? Cool. Yay, short scott professional. Hell to the yes. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. All right, next section. We are going to slightly elevate this next section because again, we want to start to create just a little bit of this, it's graduation, right? So we really, really can start to get some bounce and we're going to keep building that weight, all right? So this time I am going to use my comb. I'm going to put my comb in, but I'm going then to release that tension and I'm just going to lift up just slightly, okay? And then again, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. Okay? Gone. Awesome. Cool. Beautiful. So now we're starting to build some weight. Okay? Hi from Switzerland. Very cool. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. All right. Our next section, now you can take as many sections as you need to, again, based on the density of the hair. Our next section, we're going to match that elevation that we just did. So same thing, again, I'm gonna make sure to split this into two because it's a little bit of a bigger section. Comb down, okay? Elevate just slightly and pull back on that so that we get a nice, clean, and same line, okay? The biggest thing, especially with curls, is again, we have to compensate for that bounce. And we also have to make sure that we're not overworking the hair, right? Now, I'm a big believer in combing it. I'm a big believer in get your hands through it. But we also want to be gentle with it. In its nature, a lot of curly hair is actually quite fine, right? So we really have to be cautious, number one, of how we lift it. And also how we cut it is to not kind of tear it apart too much. So being really careful and intentional with our cuts. Okay, so same thing here. Just slightly up. Pull back, okay? Cool. If my head gets in the way as I'm doing this, let me know. Cool, okay, awesome. So now I'm gonna start to incorporate just a little bit of the sides. So that way then I love to incorporate the sides as I go. I kind of like to work in those like planes of the head. What comb am I using? This is a YS Park comb. Yeah, again, not paid to use it, but shout out to all the brands if they want to give me a little something. Send me a little something, I'll use it. All right, I'm gonna part this side off again, horizontal section. I'm gonna try to move this just a little bit. It's a little out of my reach here, okay? And then same thing, I'm gonna start to match the very top line, okay? I don't wanna match this very bottom line, because I don't want this, we don't wanna create any angle that's going forward. I want it to be very, very linear, all right? So same thing, I'm gonna, with my comb, I'm gonna check my other side here. Again, that's popped up just a little bit, but I wanna match this piece, so that same thing. You can start from this direction if it's easier, and you're just gonna cut. I'm gonna then cut back from this way. Again, pulling a little bit back on my shear, okay? Cool, we've got evenness. Again, this motion. Cool, awesome. Any questions thus far? I love this. Thank you guys for joining in. Cool, all right, back to the back, and now we're gonna do 2 more sections in this area here. Okay, let me just move this a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna take this small section, and then that same thing, again, we're not continuing to elevate and graduate, we're just meeting that second section that we did to continue just to build this weight line wherever we wanna see that heaviness. This is obviously gonna depend on face shape, this is gonna depend on, you know, and features and things like that. This mannequin has quite the severe cheeks and jawline, so she can wear something super, super heavy in through the middle of the face. So just adjust accordingly and see. Okay, same thing in through here again, and I'm just gonna kind of pull back and pull back and pull back. You can really start to see that weight line starting to form, and I just love these shapes a lot, okay? Our last section, now especially in curly hair, again, we need to think about creating short and long, right? So we've got a lot of differentiation. I love when curls kind of have a little bit, like some pieces will have a little bit of a life of their own. So that's also with some of my inspiration for this haircut, along with making sure, again, that we just create this really beautiful bob shape. Missed the start. Have you prepped the hair with a cutting agent? I have, yes. Thank you for that question. I obviously with just water, and then I've also sprayed in some of our Fiber Clinics, the Hydrate Spray Conditioner. I love this because number one, it's gonna have the benefits of strength because of our Tri-Bond technology, and then it's also gonna add some smoothness and some moisture. So again, curls are always super, super thirsty, so this is gonna be one of my favorite preps. You also could spray in the Tame spray as well. This is gonna aid in just taming down any frizz and really creating a lot of softness in the hair. So these 2 from Fiber Clinics are my favorite. Thank you for the question. All right, so again, last section, we are going to use what's underneath as our undercut. The reason being is because if we can see on this side, I love that I've got some of these pieces, if we stretch them out, like I said, that kind of have a little bit of a life of their own. And it adds a lot of dimension in throughout this haircut, okay? All right, so we're gonna bring that down. And then again, this is gonna be probably the most kind of free-form part of this haircut. But again, we're gonna go about, probably about like a ½ inch or so below where that line is. And we're just gonna do that same thing, we're just gonna cut. Again, we can always tweak this if we need to. And kind of do some individual like curl finessing, which I often do at the end as well. But we're just gonna kind of go right over the top of this. Okay, give it a little bit of a comb, let it bounce back. Again, so there's not that tension in through there. Just gonna check my other side for balance here. Cool, okay. So again, and I'm literally just using my hand underneath just as a base. I'm not really even holding that down too much. Okay, that front, just that little bit. Right on, okay. So now we have our baseline. Get a lot of compliments when I use Tame shampoo conditioner. Absolutely, the hair feels amazing, and it really helps to control it, but not make it super, super heavy. I love that, and it's super nourishing for the hair as well. Cool, so now we have our baseline, and we can kind of see we're starting to get that shape on this side, where we've got that weight line that's really, really starting to form. All right, now, this next part is gonna be for someone that has a lot of hair. I guess that's the easiest way to put it, a lot of hair. It's going to be a way to remove weight and also add some short pieces to help to continue to push this up and out so we get a lot of a really cool, like I said, that weight lining through there, okay? You're gonna take, I'm gonna put this other comb down for a second, you're gonna take wide tooth comb, whatever type of comb you want. Hi, Nikki. And we're gonna create some vertical panels that are gonna act as disconnected pieces. Now, again, this top is gonna fall over the top of it and we're leaving it longer. Now, the fact that we're leaving it longer, what we don't want is it to be long and super, super heavy. So in order to not disrupt this shape so we don't lose this beautiful kind of wedge, we're gonna create a lot of that texture and movement underneath of this section. So this can remain long and those pieces that are shorter underneath can help to push that up, but we're gonna do it in panels. So again, we don't disrupt the entire weight line. With me? Following? Yeah? Cool. All right. So I'm gonna start, let's just go about probably 2 or 3 fingers width away from the hairline. I'm gonna take out this vertical section. You can zigzag, you can create straight lines, whatever you wanna do. Again, I always love the zigzag, okay? And we're gonna clip this away just for right now. All right, next one we're gonna do is we're gonna go a little bit past that. Again, maybe 2 or 3 fingers, and I'm gonna take another vertical panel. Okay, in through this area through here. Twist it, try to get it away. Okay. Again, depending on density, you can take as many or as little as you'd like. We're gonna do probably 3 on this side. I think I did 4 on this side. I probably went slightly past my center line, so. All right, so then we're gonna do 1, kind of right in through this middle here. Right on. Cool. Any other questions right away? I'm so excited to be talking about curls with y'all. Okay. All right, now here comes a little bit of the magic. Now, again, you can use your curved shear if you want. If you feel like you want a little more, oh gosh, a little more of a safety net, to be honest, because this is not gonna push or take out as much hair unless you really get into this, okay? I'm gonna use my straight shears, because that's just what I'm used to. We're gonna start by taking these sections. I am gonna comb this out so we can see this. I'm gonna flip this way so you can really see that elevation. Can we see that? Cool, all right. Again, I'm gonna use this just so that I can make sure I don't have any tangles and I've got a really, really nice smooth surface. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna comb that out, I'm gonna loosen my tension a lot, and I'm gonna go in and back cut this until I get to that very top, all right? So we're gonna go in, and we're gonna take this hair out. Back cut, back cut, back cut, okay? So now what we have is we've got shorter to longer, but only in certain sections. So we're not completely disrupting that beautiful wedge shape that we really, really want inside of that French bob, okay? So same thing, I'm gonna try to turn this again a little bit more. Is this angle pretty good? Can everybody kind of see? Let me know if it's not. Okay. Same thing, combing out, letting some of that baseline fall away too, so we're not cutting into everything, but we're just really working inside of just below that parietal, okay? So we really get some of that push up. Same thing, we're gonna go in, we're gonna push back, and we're gonna cut. I'm not completely closing my shear until I get to the very, very top. That way then I'm gonna get a lot of differentiation in through that shape, okay? So you can see though, I'm not taking that completely away. We still have that really nice ledge. All right, let's do one more section. Thanks, gal. Thanks, Nikki. I got my curls today too, so I have really fine curls. So that's a good point to make also. You probably wouldn't want to do as many sections of this on somebody that has my type of curl. I don't really need a lot of weight removal. To be honest, I need as much structure as I possibly can and just a little bit of texture. Because like I said, my curls are quite fine, and I only have a lot of density up and through here. So, all right. So last section then, same thing. Pull this out, and we're gonna push back, push back, push back, push back, then I'm gonna close. That very last one, that's when I'm gonna close that, okay? I'm gonna wet this down a little bit again so we can kind of see. Okay, so now, again, we've got some of these really long pieces that add a really cool, I don't know, just piece to it. I like things, like I said, that have just a little bit of something to it. It's not always super, super perfect, but it still is a part of the shape and it works with the shape. It's not there for no reason. There's principle behind it and there's intention behind it, but it just adds a little bit of an edge to it, especially with somebody that has some curls. Okay, cool. I'm gonna pause for 1 second and see if there's any questions just on that or about curly hair in general. If there's anything that you guys have as far as just like, would this be good on this particular type of curl? You can also ask me questions about color, anything like that. And I'll give it just a second and then I'll keep on keeping on because I know we all want to make sure we get as much hands and hair as possible. Cool. All right, awesome. All right, our next part then is we're gonna move to that parietal area, okay? You could start this from the top. The reason that I didn't though is because I would need to move more hair out of the way. And I need to get my hands have to be in the hair so much more, if that makes any sense. So I wanted to make sure that I'm really building that weight from the bottom up. How did you realize this will work on all types of hair? Well, so just kind of, I would say that the principles of cutting in general, right? So you would just alter the size of your sections and your tension. So again, someone like me, you might actually want a little, well, you might want a little bit of tension on my hair and a lot more structure potentially. So I don't have maybe as much up and down movement because my hair is a little bit finer. Now, some people may disagree with me on that. That's just what works for me, that I like a little more straightness and bluntness on my hair. So I feel like I have a little bit more support. And then I would probably just alter as far as how much weight you would take out in through the area that's underneath that parietal ridge where you're taking those vertical sections. It literally could just be the tiniest little sliver just to get a little bit of movement in through there. So it really helps to support the stuff that's gonna lay on the top. Yeah, great question. Mark Hampton. Mark, could you have twist cut those panels? Absolutely, absolutely. I do a ton of twist cutting in curly hair. I love that aids in that diffusion and that dimension of the curl 100%. You could twist them really, really low, right? And just get underneath of them. You could twist them quite high to really make sure all of your length falls and so that you don't disrupt that baseline. Absolutely. I do a multitude of things. Yeah, love that. Great questions. Thank you guys. Okay, so again, top. So I'm gonna initially find, I'm gonna actually clip this off just a little bit so we keep this separate for right now. Okay, I'm gonna find our fringe section. That's 2 words, not 1. And I'm gonna wet this down just a little bit again because now I wanna kind of combine some of this in through here. So for their next appointment, is it hard to find the same section? So what I would say, John, is that I would likely just have them, I would prompt them to come in with their hair styled. And I really would probably approach this a little bit more visually and just really kind of see where they need some weight removed, where they might need some length removed and things like that. You could find similar sections because there isn't really a ton of them, right? We only have that 1 zigzag section in through here. And you likely will be able to see if you lift that section up where some of those shorter and longer pieces are. I likely would do a weight removal like that, maybe every other time or every 2 times, because you are correct. You don't want to overdo those sections or go over them too much, because then all of a sudden you're gonna lose all of it. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna move this over. So again, I'm gonna find our fringe section. All right, and I'm gonna now combine these 2 sections. Again, I didn't really love that it was separated, but I did it for just the purposes to be able to split this in half. All right, so I'm gonna get this wet. Cool, I can really start to see this shape. I'm really trying to get us in here. Yeah, cute. All right, so I'm going to now find this fringe. I'm gonna do kind of a really basic fringe find. top of the head, there's my top point. Combing this down, I'm gonna pinch and I'm gonna push up a little bit. And then again, you can go as dense, as heavy, as much hair as you possibly want. This one seems about that same. I'm gonna take just a little bit away here. And we're gonna do quite a heavier fringe, okay? I just think that way then it can act as kind of a cool way to give even a little bit more variation in the haircut, where if it's really far forward, it's quite heavy. But if they push it back a little bit, because where this lives, it's actually gonna add a little bit of the illusion of some layering on the top surface, especially because we're not layering really anything on this top too much. Make sense? Okay. So now, all I'm gonna do is, because I already have this side done, is I'm going to match this. What I did is I took a vertical section. I'm gonna use this side just as a visual kind of a guide. Again, I'm not going right to it because I don't have a ton of tension on this hair. And I'm gonna actually come from this other side. Moving on, back then. So I can get an idea of this. All right, cool. So I'm gonna let that kind of fall out again, minimal tension. And I'm just gonna come from that underneath, okay? And let that go. Next section, everything in this fringe area is gonna be over directed to the middle. Again, kind of creating that curtainy style of a fringe, but just in a curly shape. So same thing, I'm always gonna be combing to my section. If I don't, what can happen is, if I comb to myself, I could end up getting length in the direction, like it could end up getting longer and longer. All I want is some really controlled short to long, and I don't want the sides to be uneven, okay? So we're always combing to our guide, to our section. Same thing, I'm gonna kind of find where that is, and you can kind of, some of those pieces are gonna naturally fall out, and we're just gonna cut on the top of it. So we're gonna get some shorter pieces, but we're gonna maintain some of this length in through this bottom, so that way it can kind of be pushed out into the sides, or it can be worn down and in the front. This could be then something too that somebody could, blow out a little bit as well. I'll do just a little bit on some styling when we're finished with this, okay? So about 2 more sections, again, all the way to that, so that our corners stay a little bit longer, so we get that shorter to longer, again, similar to kind of like a sweep, if you would, on smoother hair, but on the curly hair, we wanna make sure that we get a little bit more definition in that. What I mean by that is, so again, if they were to wear it straight or curly, or just smooth slightly, it doesn't just stop at the temples here. It's gonna actually have a little bit more of a sweep to it, okay? Wide tooth in my comb, same thing, we're gonna come in and cut up, okay? And then I just start to kind of form this out, see where it's at, and I can kind of see, we have one more section in this, or how that could be really kind of cool, again, and kind of aiding in that idea of this beautiful little French bob, okay? One more section on this side, same thing, we're gonna go all the way to that center. Wide tooth in my comb, very gentle in my combing, holding the hair, letting it loose, right? Not a lot of tension. Okay, same thing, shorter to longer. We don't necessarily need / want it to be exactly the same, right? But we also want balance, okay? Awesome. Now this little piece, I'm just gonna tweak. I'm gonna cut it right on the curve so that I don't take too much. Awesome. Cool. Any questions on that? Good? Fringes are my favorite. Whether it's on curls, whether it's on smooth hair, I love it. Especially on fringes though, I love when you can just have that, all of that hair right in through here, and it's just so cute and curly and all the good stuff. Okay. Now, for this that lays over the top, we're gonna have a very similar approach as we did to the fringe. We're gonna take vertical sections, and we're gonna make sure that we are elevating pretty much in a 90-degree angle and letting the rest of that fall out. Reason being, I want to create some shortness underneath, but leave this length on top. So again, as this falls, I'm not cutting into that triangularness. I'm not cutting into that weight line quite as much, so I don't lose that, because again, I want that pop and that little French pop to it. That makes sense. Cool, so I'll put a 90. We have some of this that's gonna fall out. Again, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut from underneath, and I'm gonna flick this out, and I'm gonna accelerate and move my hand as I do that, okay? That way, I know for sure I'm going to be maintaining that length because I'm moving away from it. Now, depending on if you want this to be a little bit more shrunk in through these sides here, you can take what we call kind of cutting that corner out. Don't move your hand, go right to it. I'm moving it up and accelerating up slightly. So again, I push short to long, and then I also maintain a lot of that length, okay? Next section, I have this clipped away as well too, so I don't dig too far into this. Clip your sections away. It's a very basic thing, but I've been doing this for 13 years, but I'm still somebody that if I need something to be in a certain place, I'm not gonna rely on myself that I won't pick it up, right? I'm a human, I'm also a hairdresser, I'm also moving around all day, so get it some intention, clip it away, that way you don't touch it and you know you're not gonna disrupt it, okay? Same thing, we're gonna lift up, let some of that fall away. Ooh, dropped it, too little of tension, here we go. Okay, out, 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 move your hand up, out to the side, okay? I'll spin this just a little bit. How's it going for everybody so far? Are we have some takeaways? All making sense? Cool, all right. Same thing, I'm just taking a slight little bit from the section before. Okay, letting some of that just fall away. And we're gonna cut up, 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 and move my hand just slightly. Okay, one more section in through this back. Actually, two more sections, so I keep my vertical shape here. I don't want to over direct anything too much. Okay. And one more and through this back area here. Out, 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 out. Okay, now I'm gonna release that. And what we'll see is anything that we want to tweak, okay? So we've got some pieces in through here that are a little bit longer. I like a little bit of differentiation, but these ones we're gonna take this little out, and all we're gonna do is just gonna come in and just snip just those very, very ends, just using our eyesight. So I'm gonna take my fingers and just kind of pull this out just a little bit, see where that's at, and just snip those very, very ends. Okay, cool. So now we've really got this really cute, again, French inspired bob. It's quite warm up here, so my mind is getting a little foggy. But we've got that beautiful weight line all the way around, and I'll kind of show you this back here too. But then we've got these really beautiful pieces that just kind of like spring out, right? And it just adds a little bit of something to this cut to make it not so, to just give it some life, okay? Now this side, this was the dry side, so it has a little bit more volume to it. This side, we still have a lot of dampness to it. So I'm gonna show you how I would apply some products in through here. Cool, any questions on that for those of you that have hung out, or if you're just joining? This will be recorded, obviously. I will save it so we can post all about it. Cool, all right. So a few things product-wise that I think are really important with curly hair. Number one, I love to apply product when it is quite damp. I think that it helps for the product to be able to get through the hair and coat the hair super, super well. Now, I know there's a lot of different variations on what people might think as far as like curl cast or don't curl cast or plop it or whatever it might be. That's completely up to you and as far as what you want your curl pattern to be like. My finer hair, I love a curl cast. I think for me that it really, really helps me to get some control, and then I can kind of brush it out or use my fingers. I think someone that maybe has, you know, anywhere from like 3A to 4C type of curls, you might need a little bit more something where you are controlling that with, like, let's say like a plopping method or anything like that. So that way then you get more control of that. Excuse me. All right, so I'm gonna add some more water to this. Okay. I'm gonna take a section. All right, and I'm also gonna use a really lightweight mousse. I think that mousse is incredible for control and to be able, sorry, this little thing, there we go. To be able to get a lot of structure in a curl. I love it. It's gonna be a lightweight mousse, so it's not gonna get super, super crunchy, but I just love that you get a lot of control in it, especially on weaving. Hello from India. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so I'm gonna turn this. She is all over the place here. Here we go. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna take 2 sections with this. It can be uneven, don't worry about it. I'm gonna spray in a little bit more of our Tame conditioner spray. I feel like, again, it's really gonna help to nourish the hair, but it's also gonna help to protect the hair as well. And then just really kind of calm down anything that might be overly like fuzzy, right? I don't like, frizzy is kind of a icky word, but fuzzy. I feel like I get fuzzy hair. So, all right, I'm gonna use my fingers and I'm just gonna gently kind of work that through. And then I'm gonna also work that up as well. Now it seems quite basic, but we also want to apply product in the way that we want it to style, right? Why wouldn't we? This shape has a beautiful graduation up into this gorgeous kind of wedge shape. So I wanna make sure that I'm honoring that and I'm putting product in as well that's gonna help to set that, because this other side was just air dried. So I'll show you a few things. You also can diffuse it, of course, anything like that, but this was just simply air dried with applying these products. All right, my second one is going to be Osage Topped Up. Love, if you haven't used this, the feeling of this particular mousse, right? It's really, really light, almost just like, it's like a foam more than it actually is a mousse, okay? And then same thing, I'm gonna apply this kind of working up. Yes, it's a lot, that's okay, because we can use some of this in the section above it as well, okay? So we're gonna apply that in. And then same thing, I'm gonna apply it to this. Now, I'm working really gently with this. So again, I'm not worried about really disrupting that curl pattern. For this type of curl, yes, we need some kind of scrunching to it, but to me, that scrunching motion is really, really the most helpful for people with my kind of curl. This type of curl is going to be there no matter what, generally, right? If I'm pulling this down, all I need to do is a very light scrunch back into it, and it wants to go there. My type of hair, if I did that, pulled down and left it, it would stay there, right? So for me, finer curls, somewhere that's in between 2A and 3A, I really need to get in there and get a really hard scrunch with it. This, the application of our product and the way that we apply it and coat those strands is gonna be really, really important for that end result, okay? Awesome. So we've got that. And then I'm gonna spray just a little bit of my Tame spray again on this side. Okay. Cool. All right, 2 options for this. Now, you could leave it so she gets, so they get the maximum amount of wave and curl in their naturally occurring pattern. You also could go with a few different tools. One of my favorites for curly hair is gonna be our good old-fashioned Denman brush. Now, cool thing about this is because it's just a nylon, just a 9-row classic brush, is it doesn't have any of like boar bristles, anything like that, so it's not gonna tug on the hair too much. It's gonna add a lot of smoothness to the hair. So I'm just gonna grab one section and kind of show you how I approach this. You can do this all the way around the head. It's really good for longer curls and things like that, but it's gonna help to elongate the curl pattern so it's just not so tight, which I really, really love. okay? So I'm gonna go on and I'm just gonna kind of brush, and you can alternate whatever directions that you want. All I'm gonna do then is use this to simply twist and just pull down. So you get this beautiful, beautiful ringlet curl. Also great for people that don't have a ton of natural curl because it's really gonna help to form that, which I love. So you could do that all the way around, so you get a little bit of a bigger curl, which I love. And we can take just one more, I'll show you one more time. Again, you can do this anywhere around the head. Okay, I'm gonna switch this direction. I'm gonna go towards myself this time. Spin around, pull a little bit, spin, spin, and end that curl, okay? So we get that beautiful bounce to it. Awesome, love that, okay? Second option is we could form this a bit. So since we have, I'm gonna brush this out just a little bit. So since we have this really, really cute fringe right in the front, right? That again, if it's a little bit smoother, it'll act and look a little bit more smoother and curtainy, or it'll act like a really kind of a cool, kind of shaggy fringe right in that front, is we can form this old school way and we can wave this, and we can also let that dry. So I'm gonna take my comb and I'm gonna comb this down quite a bit. And because I have a decent amount of product in there as well, it's gonna really make sure that it holds on to this, okay? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this down. I'm gonna get in through here and I'm just gonna form this out just a little bit, okay? And we'll come back this way, okay? So then as that would air dry, it's gonna dry a little bit more in that waved pattern to swoop back and to get a little bit more of our, lost my words, fringe, there we go, of our kind of curtainy fringe. So I'll try that one more time. Again, just very, very simple, holding down, very, very classic wave, coming back towards that opposite way, getting some of these little hairs. And then if it's a client or something that you're wanting to set, you also then could just take a cute little setting clip. When it's dry, then you can brush it out and you're gonna get that really beautiful wave right in through that front. So I love doing that too, and using the texture of tighter curls to really, really accentuate and give me a really good palette to be able to do some different styling tricks as well too. So